Hey, looks like we're live. Hey, good to see everybody. Um, hopefully you joined in. Good to see some names popping up in the chat. I'm going to attempt to pay attention to that. Just thought it'd be cool to say hi to everybody. It's what day is today? It's Monday, November 3rd. Tomorrow is election day. So if you got an election where you are, go vote. Always do. I did mine. Dropped it in the slot, and it was received and recorded by the county. So I'm good there. Um, what else is going on today? Not much. It's gloomy and cold out today. So yesterday I had the last hurrah of any kind of normal weather. It was like 72, and today it's 40. So big swing. But thought I would talk a little bit about some, what do you call it, oft overlooked accessories when you're traveling with your camera or going out on any kind of trip, whether it's on a plane or otherwise. And I've been doing this now for, well, doing digital photography since 2025 and full time since 2010. So I've got a little bit of experience here. A lot of times I've learned this stuff because I thought ahead, but mostly it's because you get somewhere on your trip and you really wish you had something, right? It's kind of tough. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribing, hit the subscribe button, hit the little heart button, because it improves the algorithm. I'm told these things by folks who seem smarter than me. Anyway, so where to start with your packing? You have limited space, but there are some things that I have found are just absolute lifesavers if you're traveling with your camera. And the first one is you can never have too many of these, and that's microfiber cloths. So these are just absolutely essential to anything. And I usually pack about 3 of these when I'm traveling, because invariably they end up in a pocket. Then you change pants or wear different clothes. So have one in your bag, maybe one in your pocket or in a jacket pocket, because you can never have too many microfiber cloths. And I find I get a lot of these. This one's from Kalari. Every time I buy a filter from Kalari, from Breakthrough, other places, they send you one of these microfiber cloths, and I ended up having a stack of them. Not to mention the ones that I get from my optometrist for my glasses, right? So as many of these as you can stand. They don't take up any space. They don't weigh much, so throw them in your bag. And along with that, you might also consider, let's see, where did I put that then? Um, a blower bulb. I've lost my blower bulb. I don't know where it went. Um, which you can use to blow off the lens or a filter or whatever before you wipe it with a microfiber cloth. So I'm confused as to why I don't know where my blower bulb was. It was just here a second ago. Anyway, blower bulb, put it on the list, and you can blow those off. And I have a little one that I use when I'm traveling. I don't have that giant rocket blower, and they're great. You can pick them up for like $8 or $9, maybe. Inflation, maybe they're 12 now. I don't know. Anyhow, blower bulb is a good thing. Another thing to put on your list is a filter pouch. I talked about this when I talked about filters a couple weeks ago. This is the Mindshift Filter Nest Mini. Okay. They're sold through Think Tank Photo. You can also get them at B&H. These are just absolutely perfect. I usually stick the whole thing in a slot in my bag. And if I don't have room in my main bag with the compartments, I can put it somewhere else or even pack it wherever. But this has color-coded 4 slots for circular filters. And you can get all the way up to 82 millimeters, I think. Well, this is a 77, but you can go all the way up to 82 millimeter diameter front filters will fit in one of these things. And what's nice is that if it's not totally full, it accordions down, so it gets kind of flat. And it's got some rigid sides, so it protects your expensive, important glass filters. So that's a good one. Another thing that I really like to go with is today's cameras. Most of the newer ones have all moved over to the USB-C interface for either connecting to a computer or to even you can charge the battery in your camera with USB-C. So USB-C, if you can sort of start to consolidate all of your cables, depending on what you use. But like my phone uses USB-C, so that needs a charger. My camera can charge via USB-C. Um, I have, other things, you can charge your watch, whatever, your iPad, your computer can charge via USB-C. So if you can make everything USB-C, what's cool about that is that you can reduce your footprint of things like chargers. Now, I do have a charger, a dual charger that I'll bring on more serious photo safaris when I want to charge two batteries at a time, especially if I'm using the camera. But if I'm just casually shooting, I can charge up overnight or in my hotel room, wherever, plug in the camera to a USB-C port. So there's some other things that go around with that. So I like to put all of my USB-C stuff, all my charging stuff into this nice organizer. Again, this is a think tank module. I think I got it as a freebie once for purchasing over some amount of money. This is the Cable Management 10 2.0, and they come in different flavors. It's got a little pouch here on the back if you want to put your business card or something like that in that. But having this as one unit to put all your cables in and make sure. So I've got USB-C cables in here. I also have the dedicated charger for my MacBook Air is in here. And if you are going USB-C, you're going to find that not everything has USB-C ports, right? So a nice thing to have as well are some adapters that you can get, real inexpensive, Best Buy or Amazon, whatever. This is a USB-C to A adapter. So if you've got a USB-C cord and you need to plug it in to charge something with a USB-A port, you can do that. Now, sometimes I run into situations where, like, I'm trying to connect my phone to the USB-C or USB port on a rental car, and they don't always have USB-C, or maybe the USB-C is power. So in that exception, for the best quality, I do have a USB-C A to USB-A to C cable, so I can plug my phone in and then plug it into, say, the rental car. Or if I'm in an airport and they only have USB-A ports, maybe it's an option. Now, to go along with that, you got to have to charge your devices somehow. So like when I travel, I use I've got this nice little dual USB-C plug, and that goes in my travel bag. So I can plug in an airport, and it's got two ports. And if these are sufficient wattage, they can charge your devices pretty fast. They charge pretty quickly. I can also charge my camera battery with it. So I have those. I can go in this bag, put it in here. When I get to my destination, it's the bane of traveling is, where are the outlets in your hotel room? And, are they near anything? And how many of them are there? So when I'm traveling, I always go with one of these guys. This is an Anchor. It is a flat USB-C power strip. So I can plug things in here if I have like my old plug. But more importantly, I've got two USB-A ports and two USB-C ports. So you put this on the desk wherever, you've got a place to charge your computer, you've got a place to charge your phone, you've got a place to potentially charge your camera. You could also plug in, say, this little adapter. I could just plug in the AC adapter. So this whole move to USB-C really has made traveling easier, because I don't need to bring these bulky cords with their AC adapters. I can have one thing and then just have small USB-C cords. Another thing sometimes like to travel with too is, when you buy your phone, The standard USB-C cable is, I think, just like 3 feet, 1 meter. So I'll go out and get a 2 meter USB-C cable. This thing, so if your plug is sort of back in the corner and you want to be able to reach the nightstand or something in your room, 2 meter cable. These are great. This one's nice. It's braided. Again, you can get these pretty cheap on any electronics store. Now, um, other things that I travel with. Let's see. So, one more power thing, and that's this guy. This is a Mophie juice pack, I believe. It's a dual USB-C battery pack. And this one has sufficient wattage to easily charge your phone back up to, 70, 80% in 20 minutes or so. But it's also strong enough to charge my camera via the USB-C port. So this sucker is awesome. So I charge it up before I go. It's got a little battery life indicator on lights up. And and this one, I think it's 20. So yeah, it's got two 20-watt max USB-C ports in there. Okay. So I can plug in two devices. I can charge an iPad. I think I can even charge my computer with it. It might be a little slow, but I can do that. And these, if you just go to, Best Buy or wherever, they usually don't come with the two USB-C ports. So if you're like me and you use an iPhone and a lot of USB-C peripherals, go to the Apple store or order online, because the Apple variant comes with two USB-Cs instead of one A and one C. Obviously, you've got that choice should you want a USB-C, USB-A port. I'm going to get all tongue-tied on this one. So, all cool. So that's power stuff. Now let's talk about other things that are easy to forget. Um, and some of these are going to be kind of random. So one thing, I once went on a safari and a client couldn't find their memory cards to save, it was like, where are they? And this might sound silly, but get yourself a memory card wallet. This is the little Mindshift one that you can get from Think Tank. Um, this is a one for SD cards, so I can hold 6 cards, and rarely am I going to go through that many cards on a trip. I've put my name and information on the inside just with a sticker, label maker, and it's got a little hook on there that if you have a bag with a clip or you can clip it to things that can be useful. So put all your memory cards in the wallet so that you don't lose them. I learned this one kind of the hard way back, way, way, way back. It was 2005, and I was going to South Dakota for the very first time with a photo group, and I wasn't leading it or anything like that. And back in 2005, a 4 gigabyte compact flash card cost $400, and I had 2 of them. It was basically all I could get. And during the trip, you would have to occasionally erase your card, copy things over, erase your card. And I was packing my camera bag, and oh my God, I could not find my second card. And that little card had just slipped between the back of the dividers in my bag. I eventually found it, but I was having a freaking heart attack. If you got one of these, it's a lot harder to misplace, because these go into a pouch or a compartment, a zipper compartment inside my camera bag. So memory card wallet, definitely something that you want. All right, some other things that are going to seem a little bit different going through my list here. Okay. You'll want to always remember to bring your memory card reader. Now, this is a fast USB-C Lexar reader for SD cards. It's also got like a micro SD slot in it, but they make them obviously for XQD cards and CF card, CF Express cards, that kind of stuff. You can even get these little tiny things for SD, and this one is cute. It's like a stick, and on one side it has USB-C, and on the other side, it has USB-A. So depending on where you're trying to transfer your photos, and something like this that's so inexpensive, it's almost easy enough to buy an extra one and have one just lives in your travel bag, your dedicated bag, so that it's always there and you don't have to remember to pack it. Okay. What else do we got? Get into some other things that might not seem like travel accessories, but I have used them. Um, so one thing I do have, a little thumb drive. Same thing with this guy. I've got USB A on one side, USB C or USB A, and then USB C on the other side. So if you needed to, back up something, you could. Alternatively, I will often travel with one of these. This is the SanDisk. It's a portable USB-C SSD. This one's 2 terabytes. Um, I love these because they're super fast, and so usually when I'm on a trip, I can copy all my photos onto one of these, or even copy my Lightroom catalog onto one of these, back it up, and then I've got this separate backup. And the nice thing about this is that you can easily put it in a hotel safe if you're traveling and keep it locked up so your images are safe. Okay. Some other things. What else do we got here? Okay. Here's a good one. This this is a filter wrench. They come in different sizes, but this is just, and this one's plastic. Some of them are rubberized, metal, whatever. You can get fancy ones, get expensive ones. But this thing will save your butt if you're somewhere and you've used say you've put a polarizing filter on your lens and you're trying to remove it because when you were turning the polarizer, you've twisted the darn thing too tightly. And especially those slim polarizers are really thin. This wraps around like a wrench and it will loosen that filter. You can get a pack of 2 or 3 of these for like $8 or $9. Um, Keep one in every camera bag that you might have. Just make sure you get the right size to fit the lenses that you have. When I downsized some of my kit to smaller lenses, I realized, hey, these are too big. So I got some smaller ones. Easy to do, easy to pack. This thing is a generic Arca Swiss dovetail plate. And normally when I'm traveling, um, if I'm using a tripod, I'm going to have a dedicated L bracket. However, sometimes you might forget that. And this, if you take the L bracket off, like I did in Chicago, and go down to the shoot and realize I don't have a way to attach my camera to my tripod. This thing would easily fit in my bag, just in a zippered pocket, and it's a nice emergency one. You can even get some of these that are like super low profile. I've got one somewhere. It's like barely the thickness of 2 coins, but these are nice to have because this is the way you attach a camera or a lens to a tripod that has an Arca Swiss clamp. I'll talk about that on maybe some other episode. Okay, where else am I at now? Speaking of tripods, I have a Gitso tripods, and they come with these specialized little wrenches, these little Torx wrenches, and a little wrench here. If your tripod legs loosen up on you during a trip, it is annoying to have a floppy tripod leg. I hate that. I hate that. So I try to always carry this set in my camera bag or even in my checked luggage sometimes when I have space for that. I also carry around an extra Allen key, which is what you use to attach your L brackets or sometimes these plates. This one actually is cool. It has a little flip out screw, flips out. But if you need to tighten this onto your camera, having the extra Allen key. So if you forget those, you learn real fast to remember to have some extras and pack them. And the good news is that every time you buy a quick release plate from whoever makes it, they always include the little Allen wrench to attach it. So I've got dozens of these at this point in my life because I've just gotten so many of those accessories over the years. All right. Now for some other fun things. Here's one that I didn't expect, but it turns out it was a smart thing to have: a tube of super glue. I was traveling somewhere and the little rubber foot on my tripod decided it was going to come off. Don't ask me why. It wasn't the screw on kind. This reattaches it. Having some super glue, you just never know. And I usually put it in a little Ziploc bag so it doesn't hopefully it doesn't leak. Random, but sometimes useful accessory. Speaking of that, it's not a bad idea to travel with a few little extra Ziploc bags because if you're putting things that might leak, suntan lotion, sunscreen, insect repellent, whatever, you just never know. So having an extra Ziploc bag or two in your bags can be very helpful. And you can also do if you're going somewhere where, like, let's say you're going to be shooting on a sandy beach or something like that. If you pack a black, hefty bag, a big, 30-gallon trash bag, you can you can use that as an emergency poncho if it rains on you, but you can also use it as an emergency ground pad if you want to get down on the sand. So it can be kind of helpful too. And again, those don't take up any extra space in your bag. What else do I got? So there's my super glue. Oh, this is like super, super important um, because it is like an absolute lifesaver. Where do you go? If you're a Mac user, get yourself a pack of AirTags, these Apple AirTags. And there's generic ones too. They don't have to be the Apple ones. And, pro tip, you can get a 4-pack for about $20 less if you buy them at Costco, just saying. So this is a nice thing. Um, these pair to your phone. It will alert you if you've gotten too far away. If you've left your item behind, you can designate using the Find My app in your iPhone, if you've got one, which places are considered safe. Um, so, like, if I leave my camera bag at home, it doesn't yell at me. But if I leave my camera bag in a hotel room, it says, "Hey, you left your camera bag behind," just like it would with your phone, your AirPods, whatever. So I keep these in my bag. I put them in my suitcases. So if someone were to walk off my camera bag, I would know exactly where it was. So I like to tuck them in places that people wouldn't necessarily find them. They also will beep if you're looking for them. Your phone will actually point you to where they are. So that's kind of cool. Air tags can't just must have these days in terms of a travel accessory. All right, I'm gonna check that one off my list. Now, I told you I have all these cables. You notice I got them tied up with these little elastic bungee cords. These are these cable ties that come from, again, another one of my favorite companies, Think Tank Photo. They call them red whips. Okay. All right. Whips and whatevers. But you can get a pack of these. Um, I happen to be a Think Tank affiliate. If you ever buy an item from Think Tank using my affiliate link, they will actually give you an opportunity to get a freebie. Sometimes this is one of the freebies. So I've gotten a lot of these by using my own link on that, but they're not expensive. And what I like about them, I've had some in the past that were like the Velcro kind. The Velcro ones stick to the inside of your camera bag because of all those Velcro dividers. So these are nice nylon, and you can use them to tie up all of those cables that you have so things aren't a tangled mess. I love these red whips from Think Tank Photo. Okay, what else do I have? The last few things are going to get into the somewhat esoteric. This is a chemical. It's in a pen. It's called deoxit. I haven't had to use it too often, but what this does is it removes oxidation from electrical contacts. And sometimes when you're a photographer, this used to happen on occasion, your autofocus wasn't seeming to work right or things were just getting weird. So one of the things you can do is clean the contacts on the lens and on the inside of the lens mount on your camera, you just put a little deoxit on them, and sometimes that fixes all the problems. And this thing, it just goes in the slot at the pen, so it's easy to travel with. So that's one. Another thing that I like to carry with me, although I don't usually need it, this is one of those, if you bring it, you won't ever need this. This is the Think Tank emergency rain cover, and they come in a variety of sizes, small, medium, and large. I just have the small one here, depending on the size of your lens. Now, I don't shoot a lot in the rain, but if it is getting a little bit, sketchy and it may be a little mist and you want to cover your camera, this is a great way to go. And again, they pack down quite flat, and they just loop around your camera. They're not really intended for shooting in a downpour, but unless you're a photojournalist on the sidelines of a sports match or some kind, and shooting in a torrential downpour, you probably don't need anything more than this. So this can be pretty handy, small and light. All right, last two things on my list. Well, I got three more things on my list, but two are small. Insect repellent. I'm going to Florida this week, so do some scouting down in the St. Petersburg area. Insect repellent is a must. Problem with insect repellent is that it can melt the DEET-based stuff. It is not good for your gear. It can melt plastic, the rubber grips. You just don't want to get it on your camera gear. So there's a newer form of insect repellent that works great. Trust me, I know this from experience. And that uses the active ingredient called paraffin instead of DEET. It comes in a variety of forms. So my favorite these days is this one from Sawyer, picaridin insect repellent, and it's a lotion. And I love it because it lasts, I don't know, this says up to 14 hours, although you probably sweat through it more, but it's not greasy, and it works just great. Like I said, I've tried this in the Everglades. I know it works. But the other thing you can carry with you is this is a different brand, you can get a package of these wipes. This is from Naturapel. These are picaridin. Now, these are a little bit more oily, but again, they won't harm your gear. But the nice thing about this is I can put a couple of these in my camera backpack, and then boom, I've got insect repellent. How many times you've been out and you go somewhere and then, oh my gosh, where did these mosquitoes come from, or no-see-ums or whatever? I can reach in my bag. I've got this, and it's my emergency stash. So I just keep this in my camera bag so it's always there, just like my tripod tools and extra Allen wrenches and stuff, and filter wrenches. So picaridin-based insect repellent. I'm going to make a list of all this stuff with some when the show comes out on the replay, because I know that this is kind of an impromptu session. You might have missed it. So I'll put this in the links. Now, here's one more accessory that I find to be particularly helpful when you're traveling, not necessarily as a photographer, but anytime. And that is some Starbucks instant. Okay. Yes, it's instant coffee, but how many times have you gone to a hotel and you've got garbage coffee, or it's not, and you need something before you can get out there? Trust me, this stuff ain't bad. And if you need to get up at 4 a.m. and you don't have time to brew hotel coffee, you can just microwave some water. This stuff is so much better. It's just so much better, and makes you functional. So I get this a lot of times. I'll just go to Costco if they have it on sale in a multi-pack, and I'll get a bunch of these Starbucks Via packets. So that's an oft overlooked travel accessory. Now, the last thing I want to show you is less of it's sort of an accessory, but not as much. And that's this little bag. It's a little shoulder bag. And it's from a company, I think they're in China, but it's a company called Wotencraft, Wotencraft. And it's not sold as a camera bag. It's not really intended to be a camera bag, but if you notice, it compresses down to almost nothing. So this will serve two purposes. Sometimes this will be my personal item if I'm carrying a big camera backpack as my, overhead bin travel bag. Other times, I'll just put this in my checked luggage. That when I get to where I'm going, I can have my camera backpack, but I can also have this. But what's cool about this is that it does expand quite a bit, and I can fit my my OM1 with a lens on it, as long as it's not crazy huge, into this bag. Now, why is that useful? It's because, I can put my wallet in here, my passport. It's got little hidden pockets. It's got little pouches in here. And if I just want to, if I'm just walking around a city with just a camera and lens, and I can just put this away so that my camera's not hanging out, it's super useful. And then, when I'm flying home, it just goes back in my luggage. It doesn't take up any more space in terms of carry on stuff. So, that's a lot. That's a good list of things. I'm gonna make this list. I'll type it up when the replay comes out. I'll make this list. But you know, it's getting to be that time of year. We're probably traveling for holidays or whatever. Again, I appreciate everyone who's subscribed to me and followed me and all this other stuff, because I'm still like learning the ropes on how Substack works. I want to mention a couple of things. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I'll be a guest on the Daily Whatever show hosted by Jen Exie. So if you haven't checked out Dana and Lawrence, check them out because it's fun. I'll just be talking a little bit about my background in photography. So that's cool. On Thursday, I'm going to be down in Florida, but I've got a special guest on Zoom. I'm having a Zoom chat with my safari leader for my October 26th photo safari to Namibia. Now, that's in Africa. Okay. So go on the map. It's just north of South Africa on the west coast of Africa. I have a 14-day photo safari. I can only take 5 clients. So it's going to be super small and super special. We're going to do wildlife photography, landscape photography, and night sky photography because there's dark skies down there. And so Catherine Haylett, who's the safari leader, who's helping me put this all together, she's going to join me to talk about Namibia because she's been going down there for 25 years now. Talk about what kind of photography you could do there and answer any questions that you guys might have about either going to Africa or even joining my trip. So until next time, thanks for being a subscriber. I'm Jason Odell. The Photographer's Perspective is my Substack. I encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for all the hearts, and we'll see you soon.